Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a really close look at a massive intersection of education, global enterprise, and the future of our digital workforce. Specifically, we're talking about the 10th Huawei ICT competition. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to look past the usual PR to figure out exactly how the world is trying to bridge this critical and, frankly, widening digital skills gap.
To really grasp the gravity of this initiative, we literally have to start with the scale. 220,000. Just think about that number for a second. That is the staggering amount of university students and faculty members who jumped into this record-breaking 10th edition. It's just an immense talent pool, and it represents a huge global effort to get the next generation hands-on with advanced tech. And to put that massive footprint into perspective, let's break it down a bit. We're talking about participants from over 2,000 institutions across more than 100 different countries and regions. That's practically the whole globe. But reaching the global final in Shenzhen, well, that is an incredibly rigorous funnel. Out of that giant global starting line, only 177 elite teams actually advanced. I mean, we are talking about the absolute elite of the elite here. Students who survived these brutal national and regional knockout rounds. They proved their technical mettle time and time again just to earn a seat at the final table. Let's move to our agenda and see how this builds our roadmap for today. First up, we'll look at this record-breaking tech showcase. Then, we'll go inside the competition tracks. Third, we'll check out some real-world student innovations. Fourth, we'll explore triumph through global teamwork. And finally, cultivating future ICT leaders.
All right, Section 1, a record-breaking tech showcase, a worldwide initiative.
So, why does a worldwide initiative like this even matter? Well, we synthesized recent corporate press releases along with regional reporting to get the full picture. And the core problem is pretty clear. There is a severe global shortage of skilled professionals in AI, computing, and cybersecurity. Tech is moving so incredibly fast that traditional schools often struggle to keep up, which leaves a huge gap between what students learn and what the industry actually needs on day one. Dr. Shafika Isaacs from UNESCO really hit the nail on the head at the closing ceremony. She noted that the future of AI absolutely requires intense, cross-border collaboration among governments, international organizations, academia, and industry. In fact, this competition is recognized as a key partner program by UNESCO's Global Skills Academy, specifically to help develop that much-needed, future-ready digital talent.
Moving right along to Section 2, inside the competition tracks structuring the solution.
If the problem is a global digital skills gap, how does a massive competition like this actually structure the solution? Like, how do you test and train 250,000 people effectively? Well, you definitely don't treat tech skills as just one giant monolith. Now, what's really interesting about this approach is the diversity of pathways it reveals. The organizers chopped the competition up into highly specialized, highly targeted tracks. Students can jump into the practice competition to drill really deep into things like network, cloud, computing, or Ascend AI. Or they can enter the innovation competition, which tasks them with building actual commercial solutions using the Internet of Things and big data. They even carved out a specific programming track, and get this, a dedicated teaching track just to elevate the educators themselves.
There's a really fascinating split here when you contrast the objectives of these pathways. In the practice track, the whole goal is passing some seriously rigorous hands-on lab and theory exams. This directly targets the acute shortage of network and cloud engineers in the global workforce. You know, the people who actually build and maintain the invisible infrastructure powering our daily digital lives. But the innovation track? That's an entirely different beast. It challenges students to build complete, commercial solutions totally from scratch. The real-world impact here is that it fosters rapid entrepreneurship, pushing these young innovators to design brand-new tech apps for very real, pressing life scenarios.
That brings us to Section 3, Real-World Student Innovations, Technology for Good.
So, what exactly are these students building? Let's shift our focus to see how that massive, macro-level structure actually results in micro-level, human-centric success stories where they're applying tech for good. Take the all-female team from Central China Normal University, for example. They were the global grand prize winners in the innovation competition. They decided to tackle smart agriculture, building this really intelligent inspection robot for crop control and disease recognition. I mean, that's technology directly addressing global food security. And to perfect their algorithms, these students pulled countless late nights in the university labs. They were so dedicated that they actually risked staying way past curfew and getting locked out of their dorms by the supervisors. No way, right? But hey, that is exactly the level of obsession and dedication that ultimately won them the grand prize. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer variety of problems being solved by these young minds. On one hand, you have the Egyptian team's Manito project. They literally used AI to translate ancient hieroglyphics, leveraging modern processing power to preserve completely irreplaceable cultural heritage. Then, on the other hand, you have another team from CCNU who built a wearable assistive device for the visually impaired. They integrated advanced AI vision and BeiDou satellite positioning to help users safely navigate complex public spaces. Obviously, these are wildly different projects, but both are using cutting-edge tech to create profound, immediate social value.
Now, the competition also actively pushes for global inclusion and diverse representation, which is absolutely crucial. The Women in Tech Award went to 7 all-female teams spanning Azerbaijan, Nigeria, Kenya, China, and Bahrain. This really highlights the critical importance of bringing diverse perspectives right into the engineering space. Additionally, they gave out a Green Development Award focusing on sustainability, and that went to teams from Ghana and China. The finals in Shenzhen truly represented a global cross-section of emerging talent, proving for sure that the next big technological breakthrough could literally come from anywhere.
All right, on to Section 4. Triumph through global teamwork, overcoming barriers.
Building great tech is hard, but building it across vast distances, that's a whole different level of difficulty. While the Global Network Track winners celebrated their grand prize under the bright, flashy lights on stage, teams like Tanzania's had to grind it out in a much humbler setting, a virtual meeting room. See, the 3 members of the Tanzanian team actually came from 3 completely different universities. Because of the geographical distance, they couldn't just casually meet up at a local coffee shop or a campus lab. So they turned an online meeting space into their own virtual command center. Using Huawei's ENSP simulator, they spent every single evening practicing how to configure complex enterprise routers and firewalls together, entirely remotely.
Their path to victory really highlights the intense rigor of this event. It started with mastering that network simulator remotely. It required incredible discipline just to overcome massive geographic distances and conflicting university schedules. But the real crucible? That was Shenzhen. Once they made it to the global finals, the last lab exam was an 8-hour marathon. And this wasn't some multiple-choice test. They actually had to build and troubleshoot a functional enterprise-grade network under immense pressure. To make every single second count, the team worked for 8 straight hours without even stopping to eat lunch. Talk about dedication. That is the sheer physical and mental endurance required to compete at this echelon.
And finally, Section 5, cultivating future ICT leaders, the bridge to employment.
Ultimately, the competition itself is really just a stepping stone. The real goal is to create a bridge to employment and shape the digital economy of tomorrow. So the crucial point is this concept of industry education collaboration. This isn't happening in a vacuum. It's a carefully calculated integration of theoretical university courses with hard-hitting corporate practical training, research, and of course, global competition. And the real-world results? They are incredibly tangible. Outstanding students from these events frequently secure early, direct admissions to top-tier postgraduate programs. Others receive what they call fast passes to the Huawei Future Business Leader track, landing immediate tech careers. They are actively shrinking the gap between what universities teach and what companies actually need on day one. These students leave not just with a trophy, but with real-world confidence and a fully launched career. We've seen students from Egypt preserving history, students from China aiding the visually impaired, and students from Tanzania conquering complex networks across physical distances. They are all stepping up to actively bridge the global digital skills gap. So, the intelligent world is calling. How will you shape it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.